Welcome to this week's edition of Hardcore Wrestling Rants. I am your hardcore host, Rick Head, and I'm joined by the hardcore crew. And what a hell of a lineup we got this week. We got Crown Jewel just right around the corner, and we got the Elite possibly coming back. But hey, we'll have to talk all this. But first, let me introduce the hardcore crew. First, he's the incomparable Lance Moss over at Lance Moss TV. Lance, what's shaking?
It's going pretty good, and since we got Crown Jewel, I'm just going to go ahead and say this. It's Joe at Skolden'sDrum.com.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sure. Make it seem like I'm the bad one that says a lot of shit, which I do.
And of course, that's right, the Lord Skelton himself, Joseph Knight. Joe, what's going on down in the realm?
Nothing much. Just did a live wrestling interview today, so that's pretty cool. Got invited to spill my knowledge and enhance another company's reputation, or flush it down, depends on how we are. But I'm here. This is my home, Hardcore Wrestling Rants. So I can't wait to get into the topics, because Lord knows, Rick, there's a lot at stake at Crown Jewels, and I don't mean titles, I don't mean workers, I mean real life situations.
Absolutely. So let's get out first. Since his departure from AEW, we're going to talk about Cody Rhodes. A lot of people questioned as to why he left. Some suggested that he had personal issues. Others said it was money. Others said that he didn't like the Bucks, and all these other rumors. And Cody Rhodes wanted to set the, clear the air, so to speak. And this is what he had to say: "I didn't leave because of the Bucks or Kenny. I'm forever bonded to those men for what we created, and I remain very proud of them. And I didn't leave because of any issues I had with Punk. We got along. It's not money. It's not booking. It's just a personal issue and me wanting to go for the big one." And I guess, guys, of course, the big one referring to, Joe, as the WrestleMania moment. Everybody wants that moment.
Absolutely, and it's bullshit if he says it wasn't the money. If it wasn't for the money, he wouldn't be in the business. Let's get that shit out of the way now. He left because of the business, of the money involved. No doubt about it. That's what it was. So, and you know what? Who can blame him? You have to. It's all about bettering yourself and making as much money as possible. When it comes to stuff like this, you have to think ahead. Let's look at let's be realistic about this. Cody, every time he entered the arena, he was booed like he's John Cena when he was in AEW. Everybody hated him. He put himself over. He sometimes let other people win over. It just didn't work. And I'm sure when WWE came and said, "Hey, we'll give you fucking a lot of money if you come jump back, and might give you a title opportunity." Remember, Vince is not about guarantees; it's about opportunities. So, plus we'll give you a shitload of money. Well, fuck yeah, let me do that. So, honestly, that's what it was. He's bullshitting you if it says it wasn't about the money. It was the money.
All right, Lance, again, over to you. You and I, throughout the, past 15, 16 years, we did a lot of interviews over at different podcasts with indie wrestlers, and we asked them what's their number one thing they want to do. They said their number one goal is to make it to WWE and, get to WrestleMania.
Yeah, it's like a football player wanting to go. Do they want to go in the XFL? Do they want to be in the CFL? No, they want to be in the NFL. And in professional wrestling, the NFL is WWE. So in all different sports, they have the one league you want to be in, and in this particular case, that's McMahon or Levesque in this moment.
Well, we could say, Levesque, because I think Vince is long gone. But nevertheless, that's exactly the case. And, when you're a wrestler, you got to shoot for the big one. If you don't, what's the point?
Yeah.
I want to move along now that WWE announced they released 5 wrestlers this week. Bodie Hayward, Sloane Jacobs, Eric Yan, Demetrius Griffin, and forgive me if I mispronounce this, is Rufen, have been let go of the company. During a recent interview with WWE's SVP, James Kimball stated that the company evaluates all NXT wrestlers on a 6-month basis. And pretty much on those 6 months, if they move up, then, go great. If they don't make any progress, they don't see anything really working for them, they'll let go. And Joe, it just seems that these 5 guys didn't make it.
Absolutely. And my question, my mentality was who? Because the only one I know is like Eric Young. By the way, over in the YouTube channel, in the chat box, we have Terry 3Gs. He says, I hear Rick, Lance, and Joseph. So that's good. This time he can hear us all. He says, so Rick, that's why Lance and Joseph stick around. You are offering them the big money. Well,
okay, so again, let's put this over to Lance because it seems like that was kind of a trick question mixed into 3. But all right, Lance, your thoughts on these guys getting released?
Well, NXT is developmental. If they ain't developing, later.
Exactly, So, and that just seemed to be the case. So, it's not like WWE where, like when Vince was still running the show where he was just, like firing people left and right for no apparent reason. But, and again, like I said, I never heard any of these guys until I read the article, and I'm like, okay, that's weird, but apparently,
well, they're doing the house cleaning, Rick. You got to look at it. They're trying to redefine their product, and if you're not on your ass, right now, you're not going to make it out there because let's face it, wrestling under Triple H is going to change. So they're trying to keep the product fresh. They're trying to do as much as possible to keep the product going. They have competition from AEW, and honestly, they need to keep that set. They have to keep that momentum going.
All right, we're gonna go move along. Last week, Dynamite had a vignette of the Elite, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, fading away. Many think this is a hint of the Elite returning. Rumors are claiming, excuse me, I apologize. Rumors are claiming that the investigation is almost wrapped up, and the reason why the investigation took so long was because one side was not cooperating, CM Punk, and threatened legal action. Now, as for CM Punk, right now, the future at AEW is looking very kind of bleak. Right now, there's no official word, but it just seems to be either he wants to buy out his contract or AEW wants to buy him out. But this is a question, guys. Should Punk stay in the company? How will that affect things in the locker room, Joe? Okay, Lance.
My grandkids. Go ahead, Lance. You answer. I'll be right back.
Well, I mean, would he draw tickets? Maybe. Should we put CM Punk in a match with any of the Elite to see what the hell happens? That would damn sure draw some pay-per-view buys to see if anybody would go into business for themselves.
Well,
I'm just waiting for them to announce Thanos is all Elite.
Joe, you back with us? All right, you know what? We're going to move along to the next topic.
Wait a minute. I'm here. What was the question?
The question was about AEW, the Elite coming back, coming back, Omega and the Bucks, and Punk kind of still looking like he's on his way out, but if for some reason they keep him, is that the right idea, and how that's going to affect the locker room?
No, that's not the right thing. In fact, there was an article recently that said that CM Punk looks like he said it. He's pretty much done with wrestling. If this situation, like he says it, and this is what he was quoted saying, he might be on the way out, and after that, this is it for him in wrestling. He might go back to doing whatever he was doing, but that's it. So I think, and honestly, I don't think he's coming back. He's too much a liability, and they're literally trying to calm the situation down because they have a lot of issues in the back. They do. They have a lot of problems in the back. So right now they need to really kind of cut back on all this stuff. So I think personally, the best play they can do right now is simply, not bring him back at all.
All right. Moving on. Earlier, Saudi Arabia has shared intelligence with the U.S. warning there's an imminent attack from Iran in the kingdom and, of course, around the surrounding countries. This is according to the Wall Street Journal. As for the WWE Crown Jewel event that's coming up, everything's still going on planned. However, Kingdom has raised a level alert for their military forces. I don't know, guys. So we might, hopefully, we don't see any more pyro that doesn't come from WWE lands.
Yeah, this just made Saturday way more interesting.
Absolutely, Joe. And I know you're coughing here, which means you're trying to hold back.
Hang on. Before he says anything, it's Joe at Skull.
Yeah, let's get that shit out of the way now because I am gonna. First of all, what type of shit would Michael Cole try to say? Can you imagine? Whoa, look at extraordinary expensive pyro. It's so great it took out the third row. But that's okay. At least some of those hotels would get their sheets back one form or another.
Oh, my God.
What?
Boss, are we still on the air?
Yeah, so far.
Oh, come now. If they can't take it, then, may their camels deflate.
Oh,
so,
Jesus.
Let's go. No, come on. Let's be serious here. Let's go to the thing. The WWE is really taking this situation. They're putting their guys on the line and girls. If war breaks out, and again, this is posturing by Iran. Unless they're going to toss us the Iron Sheik, nobody's going to take it serious. They're not going to take it serious, Rick. Every country knows they're not going to fight. Because if something escalates, it's the end of us all, and that's probably the best thing this planet can ever get out of us. So, prominent thing is it's a lot of bolstering, it's a lot of bullshit. I don't see any of this really going off. So, honestly, let's just say it for what it is. These guys are just, saying their shit. They're just going to go in there and boast a lot of shit. They're not going to attack because let's go like this. The big thing out of all of this, and I'm talking about the seriousness of war. If war breaks out, there is no turning back. Iran's going to get its shit kicked out of them. And if we're due for, and I hate to say it, I hate to sound like a masochist or a sadistic little fuck, but I am.
Oh, please. Yeah. Okay. You took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah. Let's just say we're due for another world war. So, if WWE wants to, should I say, toss their people in a dangerous situation, it won't be the first time, Rick. These guys did it before. Remember when they got stuck out in, I forgot what country it was, but they got actually stuck out there, and they were on an airplane, sitting in an airplane for Lord knows how long.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
exactly. So
actually, it might have been a little bit longer than that because Brody Lee was still with the WWF, so it might have been 3 years.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, when you look at a situation like this, it could get worse. It could not. But in a scenario like this, WWE is not afraid to put shit in front of people. So if them, and let's say this, and I'll cut it so you can move on. The Saudi government pays the WWE to do a show. So if that's the case, yeah, I'm right. They're going to go and do a show because it's being paid for. Now, it's up to the Saudi government to protect these people. And if something, God forbid, happens, well, shit happens. That's how the best way to say it.
All right. Well, let's move on now to actually Crown Jewel. Let's talk about our picks for this event. One of the first ones I'm really looking forward to, guys, and that's Braun Strowman versus Omos. Now, Joe, I'm not sure you've been watching WWE recently, but if you look at Braun Strowman compared to Omos towers over Strowman. But at the end of the day, I mean, this is still going to be a fight. Joe, what's your pick on these two guys?
Wow. You got Braun Strowman, who legitimately is, a big, strong guy who can really kick ass. Then you got Omos, and let me just say Omos is great for those cookies. Oh, wait a minute. That's Amos. Famous Amos, not famous Omos. Let's just say, Omos to me is like the Giant Gonzalez of the day. Runs back and forth. He really can't do much. But this might be something that, who knows? It could be a decent match. But I highly doubt it. But then again, that's my thing. So, I think this is going to go straight to Braun Strowman. I think he's going to be the big winner here.
All right, Lance, over to you.
Yeah, while Omos has the height, Braun Strowman has just the muscle mass, and two, he's over as hell in Saudi Arabia.
So again,
I'm going to Braun Strowman.
All right, and you know what? I'm willing to bet on Strowman. So I think we're pretty much all aligned on that, on an agreement on that one. The next match is a six-man tag match, and that is going to be the OC, which is AJ Styles and the Good Brothers versus Judgment Day, and that's going to be Damian Priest, Finn Balor, and Dominic Mysterio. How the fuck he got in there is beyond me, but all right. So, and you know what, guys? I don't know how much of a push Judgment Day's been getting, but when you got to look right now between the Good Brothers, who just came in, and AJ Styles, just out of preference and personal, I'm picking the OC, Joe.
Yeah, I'm going to have to take the OC as well. These guys, they're back with AJ Styles, where they should have been from the get-go. Now, we've seen Judgment Day fail and fail. This could be a good thing, too. They could put all their failures on Dominic Mysterio. So this could be a way for, either Dominic to be kicked out and they could do something with it, later on. But I'm kind of looking at this. I'm actually thinking this could be something that could work for Dominic Mysterio and for Retribution. And so, I say let it be. Let them let the OC win this, because the OC needs to win. Judgment Day doesn't.
All right, Lance, over to you.
I'm giving it to the OC, and I'm also curious on who they're going to bring to counteract Rhea Ripley, because she is over there with the Judgment Day.
And she is the X Factor, and I don't think they would. I think it's going to be, they're going to have Rhea Ripley because, as a heel, you always want that little extra person. Always the, like I said, the X Factor. So that's how I see it.
My thing here too, Rick, is basically, is she going to be allowed at ringside in Saudi? That's the thing.
And again, that's a good question. I mean, so when it comes to Saudi Arabia, it's a whole different ball game down there, especially when it comes to women. So that's going to be another thing we're going to have to look forward to. But I want to move on now to the rematch between Drew McIntyre and Karrion Kross, and they're going to be in a steel cage. Now, Karrion Kross got the win in the strap match during Extreme Rules, and that was, of course, with the help with Scarlett. Now, we pointed out again that women might be on a minimal factor here, but with it, considering we've seen the last couple of pay-per-views down there, they've been more of the women have been able to come out of there, didn't have to be more covered up, so to speak. So Joe again, Cross, McIntyre, and will Scarlett be a factor?
If Scarlett is allowed at ringside, absolutely. I think Cross is going to go over. This is going to be better for them, for him, because he's trying to build. McIntyre is a made man. He's already done. So honestly, I don't see him needing this win at all. I say his Cross is being rebuilt. Let him come back and let him have his time in the sun. In this case, the Saudi sun. They got all the fucking sand out there. So yeah, give it to Karrion Kross. McIntyre does not need this.
Well, you know what, Joe? To a point, I'm going to have to disagree with you because, as I said, Cross got the win the last time. This is going to be another match for Drew McIntyre to lose a second time in a row. I think it would be a bad for Drew McIntyre, despite him previous getting the push that he's had before. So my vote's for McIntyre. Lance, over to you.
You know what? Drew's been losing quite a bit lately. He needs a win. So I'm actually giving it to Drew McIntyre.
Well said. All right, and now we're going to move on to the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions. It's the Usos versus the Brawling Brutes. Now, the Uso has been on a huge tear as of late. They're working on to be the longest tag team champions in WWE history, which I'm not sure if they've surpassed the New Day yet, but that apparently seems to be the goal. So, by default, that tells me that the Usos are going to win. That's my pick. I don't know about you, Lance.
As much as I want them to put a belt on Pete Dunne, I don't give a shit that they want to call him Butch. His name's Pete Dunne, and I want them to put a belt on him. I don't see it here, so I'm giving it to Jimmy and Jay.
And Joe, over to you.
The DUI brothers are going to walk away with this once again. I don't see anything changing from this. I honestly, Rick, this is the until Roman Reigns is dethroned or a bigger pay-per-view, because this is just crown jewel. Yes, it's a big important thing, but unless it's a WrestleMania, a SummerSlam, or a Survivor Series or Royal Rumble, I'm leaning more WrestleMania. You're not going to see the Usos lose this belt on a simple pay-per-view show. They're going to lose it on a big show, and that's only after Roman Reigns loses his title. So they want to protect the DUI brothers, and they want to keep the alcohol line, the bloodline going. So that's my pick.
All right. Moving on, there's the Women's Tag Team Championship, and that's Alexa Bliss and Asuka, who will be taking on Dakota Kai and Io Sky. Now, Bliss and Asuka are both former women's champions, multi-time, where Dakota Kai and Io Sky has yet to win the big or major titles. I am not sure if I can say anything about down in NXT, but so you got to wonder. I'm going to ask you, Lance. Do you think Dakota Kai and Io Sky deserves some form of title reign?
Well, they just dropped the women NXT women's titles to Bliss and Asuka. So yeah, my preference, because of the Alexa Bliss mark I'm saying that you're keeping the belts on Asuka and Bliss.
Okay, Joe. Again, this is a rematch. So Bliss and Asuka just got the titles from Dakota Kai and Io Sky.
Yeah, I'm going to honestly say, too, you're not going to see them lose the match. This is going to be a quick match because they're not going to want them out there too long. Honestly, I think what's going to happen is you're going to see this is just going to be one of those things where they're going to be done. They're going to go in there, finish it, and get out. I don't see any title change at this time for the women's tag team champion. So they just want it. They're going to keep it. And plus, Little Miss Bliss needs a title. And I think right now her and Asuka need this more than anything else until they can find someone to replace them. So, yep, no title change there.
All right. We're going to move on to another match, it's not a main event, but I'm sure it's kind of probably a highliner, and that's Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. Now, guys, we all know when Brock Lesnar's in town, that's, one of the head cases. I'm surprised he's not in the main event. So, Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar, I think depends how, this could be a decent match if they want to do like an MMA type style. If this is just a wrestling match, it could be a shit show. But I think either way, guys, I'm picking Brock Lesnar. Joe, over to you.
Wow, you want to talk about the battle of the MMA fighters. Both were champions in their respective, companies, if you want to say that. For Lashley, it's Bellator. For Lesnar, he was in UFC. These guys, are legit fighters and shooters if they wanted to. So I am thinking this should be a fight. This should not be, go in there and just act and just pound, ground and pound. Plus, both guys have amateur wrestling backgrounds. On paper, they should be good, but who knows? This is WWE. They could put the best matches together and it could end up as crap. So we'll see what happens. But I'm gonna look at. Hate to say this, but I think I'm gonna have to give this to Lesnar.
All right, Lance, your pick.
Well, 3 for 3. We're picking Lesnar.
All right. And we're gonna go on to the Raw Women's Championship, and that's gonna be Bianca Belair versus Bayley in a last women's standing match. Now, this could be really more in favor of Bayley, considering Bayley has damage control. So it could technically be a legitimate 3-on-1, fair rules, and Bianca Belair might not, unless she has any kind of backup.
She does. She has Bliss and Asuka backing her.
Okay, well, again, so this might be an all-out brawl. It depends how they're going to play this out. Lance, I would like to see one-on-one and see how far it goes, but if it's just strictly a one-on-one, we know Belair's going to win this one.
Oh, absolutely. But this could be insane, too.
Yes, I do admit that I like Bianca Belair's matches. Unfortunately, I kind of tend to know the outcome. Joe, over to you.
Again, it depends on the Saudi government. I'm going to put it that way first. They could be, well, you know what? We don't want that many women out there. So, with that being said, if it's a one-on-one, yes, Bianca. I don't see a title change here. This is too low level. I'm not saying that this is not an important show, but it isn't. If you're going to do big title changes, you're going to do it someplace else. So I'm looking at Bianca keeping her title. If they do anything, honestly, I kind of see something maybe happening on Raw, SmackDown the next day.
All right. And, of course, we have our, I wouldn't want to call it the main event. That's really kind of insulting a main event. It's the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Roman Reigns will take on Logan Paul. Now, I have a serious issue with this. How the fuck does a YouTuber come out and fucking get on the main event, on the main shows, never mind go for a fucking WWE title? There's many other...
Do I really have to explain that to you? You should know the answer.
I know what it is. I mean, it's just something in my head. Just like it's constant. I understand it's about business. I understand it's about getting the pops. But I'm sorry. There's no reason why they cannot be pushed other great wrestlers up. We've seen them do it with wrestlers that were going nowhere, and all of a sudden they're number one contenders and even, champions. So, it just, I don't get it, Joe. Explain this to me.
Okay. Well, in this, and I'm gonna say it like this, in this era, the obvious YouTuber is gonna be the darling. You heard of me say indie darlings. Well, you also have the YouTube darlings. You have those folks that can just go in there and literally, okay, literally just, they have a couple of million subscribers. Oh yeah, we'll bring you on. You know, that's honestly, Rick, that's the only thing I could tell you, because this is the only reason this garbage is booked. Did he beat anybody's significance? Did he do anything to warrant him winning a title opportunity? Absolutely not. The only thing he's done was score a whole bunch of YouTubers, and that's it. There was nothing in this whole thing that garners him, that they obviously said, well, you know what? The Saudis don't know who he is. We can't bring Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan and all these other guys around. So let's just say we'll just give them this guy. And that's the only thing. And obviously, it's not significant enough for them to say, guess what? You know, this match just fucking disgusts me because of that, because it doesn't make sense. It's like, why have this person be literally in a title match that he does not, which he's going to lose. There's no way Logan Paul is going to win a title. He's going to get the title beat down, and that's it. That's all I see out of this. This is a sheer waste of a championship. But again, they've probably done it all. So honestly, Rick, I guess they're just grasping at straws and says, well, this is all we have. Let's just go with it.
Yeah, and again, I find that kind of very silly again on the WWE's behalf, because they talk about how wide of a roster they have, and yet very few people get a shot for the WWE title. It makes no sense to me, guys. Lance, what's your thoughts and picks on this whole mess of a match?
Well, the reason I think they put him in there after he had one singles match, mind you, and that was at SummerSlam against The Miz, I believe, which it was an alright match, but did it warrant a damn title shot? No. But I kind of think one of the people that they wanted to put Roman Reigns against here said, hell no, I'm not going.
All right, so I think we can all agree that Roman Reigns is going to win this one.
Hell yes.
He might sell a few moves here or there, but honestly, I'm hoping this is a squash match to say, what the fuck is this guy doing here? And I'm sure WWE says we got to put on a show, but I would wish, I would hope that somewhere in the creative says, you know what, this guy does not belong on the fucking match. We need to fucking put him in his place. But you know what? WWE logic does not always equal to regular, common logic.
Yeah.
So the only thing that I read is some kind of a teaser that Bray Wyatt will bring his, and I quote, mystical energy to WWE's crown jewel.
Yes.
Now, a lot of his promos lately, I'm referring to Bray Wyatt, has been pretty much a lot heartfelt and down to earth and, just a straight up promos. On the flip side, he's kind of still has that weird little darkness, and he has all the Wyatt 6 guys going around, and I can't make heads or tails of this whole thing, Lance.
Yeah, that makes 2 of us, but stuff we can't figure out ain't necessarily bad.
All right. Joe, what's your thoughts on this?
Well, at least that makes slightly a little bit more sense than the Ultimate Warrior in its heyday. I think they just trying to again. He just came back. They're trying to figure out what direction they can go with this. Honestly, I think this is a scenario where they're trying to play it off like he's this way, and then they're gonna put it but he has his white rabbit type bullshit going on. Honestly, I don't think they actually have any idea what they're gonna do with him yet. So, all right, we signed the bastard. Let's figure out what we're gonna do with him. So, I honestly, I think they're just grasping us, just trying to figure out where he could fit in, and then go from there.
All right, and again, like I said, I've been watching Raw and SmackDown a little bit, sporadically, fast forwarding when I just see who's going to win and who's going to lose. And yeah, I'd like to really see Bray Wyatt's new character evolve somewhere. But we're going to wrap up this edition of Hardcore Wrestling Rants. We'd like to thank you for listening. Of course, Terry 3G over in the chat room, who's always a part of the show. But I want to give a quick shout out to our good friends, Mr. and Mrs. A, over at BC Games and More. And they're over in the group sections on Facebook, where they give a lot of old retro games. They mostly like old Japan games that are very rare, hard to find. They do trivia, they give out gifts, and much, much more. Again, BC Games and More. Joe, you're over at Skeldon Realms. Tell everybody about it.
Pretty much, I do a lot of game shows. I do game streams from the past to present, PC to console. I've been doing that. I've been pretty much a little tied up with work, but I'm getting back onto the streaming of the retro games. BC Games and More did give me some retro games that I tried out, and it drove me insane. But let's just say it was a lot of fun playing those. So check me out. I will be on tonight, later on, and tomorrow night, and that is hashtag Scoldrins Realm at YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook.
All right, Lance, you're over at Lance Moss TV. You got Lance Moss and friends with coffee every Tuesday night. What else you got going for us?
As of right now, that's about it. But it's every Tuesday at 7 Central, 8 Eastern, and we shoot the shit for about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah, I know, Lance. We can't wait for all these other guitar builds and Redneck Gourmet. That's my special. So,
there's stuff that's preventing it right now, especially the Redneck Gourmet price of food and that right now.
All right, nope, no worries. But again, like I said, let us know, and we'll definitely have you there. And of course, last and certainly not least, tonight, guys, I will be covering Dynamite at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I'll be putting stills and also some thoughts. So head on over to our HWR chat room in the group section on Facebook. So, for the Hardcore crew, I'm your hardcore host, Rick Head, saying, we'll see you when we see you.
Buy the shirt!
And tune in to the Saudi show so we can see what size crater everybody crawls out.